Hi guys, welcome back to Irish Footy Vlogs. Welcome back to another prediction video. JP is here as usual. I won by 7 points to 5 this week. JP leads overall by 40 points to 32. I got a correct score with Galway and Shells, as did JP. That was your only correct score, I think, last week, wasn't it, JP?
Yeah,
And the other correct score I actually got was Bows 1 Dundalk nil, and we shared the Pats Derry result. And what was the other one again?
I got Bose as well for I
Oh
got a
yeah,
point for Dundalk.
you get Bows as well because they won the game. Yeah, so 7-5, 40-32, little bit closer. This week we see 5 fixtures. We're going to get into a few other things as well regarding comments from Duff, etc., and bits and pieces. Noel King appointed, obviously, Dundalk and that. But Drogheda United and Sligo Rovers take on each other at Weavers Park. Drogheda have only won one game in 10. JP Sligo struggling a little bit of late. Yeah, when you think about it, they've had a lot of good draws, you see. That's the thing, haven't they? But Sligo struggling now a little bit. Did beat Drogheda 3-1 at the showgrounds earlier on the season. But yeah, it's a funny one. Drogheda, I mentioned they've only one win in 10, JP. We've also 4 defeats in 10, which is massive for a team is ninth in the league table. So, yeah, it's an interesting one at Weavers Park. Sligo struggling to score goals at the moment, actually. How are you seeing it?
Aye, well, when you say one win in 10, and then you look at the 4 draws in a row,
Mm.
um, and two of them draws were against Shelbourne and Derry. One, as Kevin Doherty described, as felt like a defeat, and the other felt like a win. So it shows you how well they've actually been performing. And I think one of the other draws was against Pats as well. So Um, they're doing exactly what they always do to be difficult to beat, especially when the big the teams at the top of the table come to play them. Like I think last year they won away at Pats, Derry, and Shamrock Rovers, and that was quite remarkable for them. Um, and I think they'll be a wee bit disappointed that they didn't get anything from Dalymount, considering that the points that they had picked up in the previous weeks. But um, and saying that, Alan Reynolds seemed they've turned Bulls around a wee bit. I think he picked up 9 points in a space of a week with that victory. So um I think but Drogheda will not be too disappointed. They will be disappointed, but they'll not be getting themselves down about it. They'll be seeing this now as an opportunity to get back on the winning ways against Sligo, a team that started the season well, but the wheels have kind of come off a wee bit. Something that we probably did expect they happen. They obviously they're now starting to get hit with injuries and suspensions and stuff like that. So um, I think this will be a difficult game for Sligo going here to Drogheda. I think Drogheda, you could say they're probably due a one, but teams are never due a win. You have to earn them, as we all know. But I think Drogheda could come away with a win in this game.
Yeah, yeah. What score are you saying?
I'll say 2-1 Drogheda.
Hmm. I think Drogheda will win as well. Yeah, Sligo. I don't know why, but all of a sudden they're struggling to score goals, and they have got power back in the team. Hartman did score a good goal, to be fair, against Dundalk the other day, and but Mata, I think he's got 4 goals, which is okay, but it seems to me if Mata isn't really getting the goals, and this was a problem actually before Mata left, funnily enough, wasn't it? That if he wasn't scoring the goals, they were struggling to score goals, so they're obviously going to be looking to Mata in this game. Drogheda. Yeah, I mean they've had a couple of good draws, particularly at home, and they'll be looking to turn that into a win. I likewise do think they'll win the game, and I'll go for 1-0 to Drogheda. I suppose I'll start with this one. Dundalk up against Bohemians next, and I suppose we'll talk about Noel King first, though. Actually, before we kind of, we'll tie that into our predictions as such, and bit of a bolt out of the blue this one, JP. A bit of a surprise, and I seen something there earlier on today, and I'll actually read some of it as well because it just seems a bit strange. Apparently, discussions right took place with Wexford manager James Keddy and recent Bowles assistant Gary Cronin. While an approach for Keith Long was quickly rejected by Waterford, that was a weird one for me. Submitted CVs included former Irish international Mark Kennedy and 3-time Finnish title winner with Helsinki, Mika Lekuso, probably butchered that. Barraclough apparently expressed, I should say, an interest, but was unwilling to enter negotiations until the conclusion of Cheltenham's season came to an end, and he's an assistant there. And Noel King, he wasn't really in the frame. It's a weird one because a lot of people apparently told Brian Avescoff not to go for Noel King. And King didn't apply for the job. He seemed quite surprised by the whole thing as well. Um,
Well,
yeah, it's a
go
weird
back
one.
what you were saying there.
There's a lot there, isn't there?
Yeah, I thought it was an absolute piss take when I seen it.
Sorry?
I thought it was a piss take when I seen it. I had to check that it wasn't coming from uh
You thought
a
you
made up.
might have been Waterford Whispers getting revenge after the Keith Long rejection.
Yeah, because on Friday night I'd seen the Keith Long article
That's
about the
bizarre. They were
Waterford
never getting
game.
him away from Waterford.
They were never going to get him, not especially so soon after losing Alan Reynolds to Bohemians. There's no way Waterford were going to sanction that, even
There's
if
no
at
way
all.
Keith Long would have moved anyway to Dundalk.
Not
Let's be real at this point in
maybe
time.
maybe if they'd gone for him a couple of years ago,
Yeah,
uh,
years ago, yeah.
maybe when Stephen Kenny had left,
Mm.
they would have got him, no doubt. And I think I think there was maybe quite a few voices were calling for him to get the job back in
Mm.
because of the job that he had done at Bohemians, and they thought he was or maybe not when Stephen Kenny left, when Vinnie Perth had left, sorry. But they went down the Italian route. And then I think again there were still calls for him to go. And I think again didn't they get Stephen O'Donnell in then? So I think Keith Long had sort of there was no way he was going to take the Dundalk
Ship
job.
had sailed, surely.
It's a ship had sailed. He was never going to take it with a position in. I think he would have been on the hiding. He's doing well at Waterford. He seems to be well supported by the chairman there, and the fans seem to love him. The players seem to love him. He's got a new number two in from who's come over from Fleetwood as well to work with him. Apparently they built up their friendship in the summer when they were Waterford were over there in pre-season, or not the summer, the winter when Waterford were over there in pre-season. So be interesting to see how that one works out. But um, Dundalk, like I read they say that Brian Ainscough was saying that Noel King was his number one choice.
If that's the case, why?
That's what I was just about to ask. Why? It's
21 years since he managed an actual club team in
I
men's
was
football.
that's what I was going to say. I think his last time he was in the dugout in the League of Ireland men's was the playoff final in the Brandywell against Derry. Um, and he got sent off that night. So I wonder does he have to serve a ban or anything?
And see, this is the point we'll make quickly that we were, yeah,
But,
exactly. Could you imagine? Yeah. This is the point we made quickly as well, like about O'Donnell, and we were saying if you are going to get let O'Donnell go, and you know, okay, maybe you can say some of the fault was his, but surely, like Noel King isn't really the replacement you have in mind if you're a Dundalk
it's
fan.
either going to go. It's going to go one of two ways, Keith. It's either going to be a shrewd appointment by Dundalk, or
Mm.
it's going to be a disastrous appointment. I don't see anything in between.
We
He's
could
either
be
going to
wrong. We could be completely wrong. I don't think it's a good appointment. If I'm wrong, fair enough, whatever. But I don't think it is. 21 years since he managed a club team. He's been managing the Shelbourne women's team, fair enough.
working with the FAI in between
Working with
that
the
as well.
FAI and obviously the under 20s and stuff for a long time. And of course, interim Irish boss.
Yeah,
A famous
I'm not
interview.
going to. I'm not going to completely write the appointment off, but I
Yeah.
think it's, as I said, it's going to go one of two ways. It's really going to be a shrewd appointment, or it's going to be disastrous. I don't see it being anything in between. Um,
Yeah.
it, I don't understand when you look at the list of names that's been applying there. Mark Kennedy, I think he was sacked by
Mm.
Lincoln, was he? So he's trying to get his name back in the ring.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. He was sacked by Lincoln. Um, I think
I
he
can kind
got the
of
Lincoln.
understood if they went for something like that a little bit because you're kind of going, okay, they're going from outside the groove a little bit. You know what I mean? But they've like Noel King's methods, a lot of people seem to think are outdated, and if that's the case, I don't know.
Yeah, but I think like Barraclough obviously wants to stay loyal to Cheltenham. They've given him the assistant manager's job or whatever. But I'm surprised to
No,
say
I
there,
think
Mike Kennedy.
Barclough really wanted the job.
no,
This
he
thing about
probably
waiting till the end of the season as an assistant. Come on, if you really wanted the
he
job.
probably realizes the situation Dundalk are in. Like I said there, Mark Kennedy was sacked by Lincoln.
Mm.
Um, and he's probably looking to get his name back in the ring in terms of management. But if you've just been sacked by a club a few months ago, he's probably looking at Dundalk. He probably doesn't realize the seriousness of it. Maybe I'm underestimating his knowledge of the League of Ireland.
Or he does, and he doesn't want it because of that.
Yeah, but if he applied for it,
Mm.
he
True,
applied for it. Like,
true.
he's the one who applied for it from the article you're reading.
Yeah,
I'm surprised
true.
that he's applied for it. Um, I just don't see who else was out there. Um, to be honest, so look, Noel King he had left Shelbourne at the end of the 2023 season, the women's season. Um, he won the league with them and got them into Europe and stuff like that. And she says 21 years since he's managed in the men's game, so it'll be an interesting appointment to see if he can get anything out of these players. Um, Brian Gartland and who else was in there?
Oh, he's gone
They
out
they seem
ahead.
to, they seem to get a
He's
wee
gone out
bit of a
ahead.
they
Yeah.
seem to get a wee bit of a reaction, didn't they? Like they got it
Mm.
was 3 games, they got 2 draws and a defeat they both in between. So and it was only a 1-0 defeat. So they seem to get a wee bit of reaction compared to
Mm.
what O'Donnell was getting out of them. It's can Kinger uh take that forward of what they've had in the last few weeks? It'll be interesting to see. But I tell you, if I was a Dundalk fan, I wouldn't have been enthusiastic by the appointment anyway.
I'll be very worried. Going into the game, then they managed to score last week, which is an improvement against Sligo. It was a penalty, but they did manage to
That's their
score.
first. Was that
Huh?
was that away from home or
No, it
it
was
was
away
away from
from
home?
home, actually. It was
They
in
still haven't scored
the
at
showground.
all.
So, yeah, they're going for their sixth game in a row without scoring a goal here at Oriel. And, of course, recently they lost 1-0 at Bowes. They performed okay, actually. But Bowes, from their point of view, they won 3 games in a row there. The win, in fairness, they backed it up, didn't they? We were saying, can they back it up this week after the Shells game? They did with 2 wins against Dundalk and Drogheda. Yes, narrow home wins. It doesn't matter. It doesn't not. You know yourself. It's 3 points. Yeah, they're on 19 points in the league. They're fourth. They'll be very happy with that, and Reynolds will be delighted with the last couple of games. Prediction wise, I think Dundalk they have to score. Come on, they have to score. 1-0. I'll go 1-0. Dundalk one, Bowes one.
I'm looking at both since Reynolds has come in, it's 4-1 and 6. Keith, it's 5 since they got rid of Devine, like and um, it's 5-1 since they got rid of Devine when you count the game that
Yeah.
Derek Pender took charge of. 4-1 and 6 for Alan Reynolds. One of them, the 2 defeats was a first game away to Rovers. The other one was away, was at home to Waterford. Um,
Arguably, the only disappointing one was the Waterford. Then we could argue really because Rovers.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
especially after beating Galway. Who were going good guns at the time. So, but they've responded well to that. They've picked up 9 points. They beat Shelbourne away, like, and um, then they've picked up 6 points, maximum points against the Louth teams. I think Reynolds will not get carried away with that. He'll know there's a lot of work still to do, and he'll be delighted that he's had a full week on the training ground with him. And the more time he spends on the training ground, the more information he's going to get through to them, and the better they'll get. And I think for Reynolds, it's just about trying to get this squad to the July window and having them in with a shout of being in the top four, top five, and seeing if he can add it. I think they're I think they're going to win this game, Keith. I just and I know you're saying Dundalk will score. I just
I'm
think
gonna be right at some point when I say Dundalk will score at home.
I just think Bows are on a bit of a run at the minute, and
Yeah.
again, being on a bit of a run can be a bit of a um. You can never take that for granted. Like as we said before, you can predict them to win and they'll get beat easily, and you can predict them to lose and they'll win. It's they're that kind of team that you just can't predict basically. But I'm gonna go 2-0 Bohemians.
2-0 Bohemians. Okay. Shelbourne and St Patrick's the Leg take on each other in the Dublin Derby on Friday as well. And I suppose Duff's comments after the game against Shamrock Rovers the other night, and I'll just on Shane Farrell basically about his two yellows and red card. First of all, he said he deserved to go off. I don't think he played with intensity. I don't think he's played with intensity for a long time, which is kind of whatever, like, but it's his next bit, I think, and obviously this is a quote as well. How you live your life off the pitch ends up biting you back on the pitch, and then he said, poor from him. What did you make of the whole thing?
I thought the bit about
The
the
personal
personal
stuff.
life I think that was a bit uncalled for, Keith.
Hmm.
Um, we don't need to know what's going on off the field. We don't even need to know there's something going on. There might not be something, we don't know.
Bear in
But
mind, these quotes came out as well on the live television broadcast as well. So,
yeah, which was I think that was pretty. Look, you can have a go at his performance or his intensity or his application and training. You can have a go at that, but never. I don't think you should ever say something about somebody's personal life, especially on live TV that can't be edited. That's already been out there. And I think that was perfect enough.
mm.
I think. Look, I haven't seen the incidents. And I never seen the game. They say that his performance levels was below par or
I
whatever.
think the
I
two
can't.
yellows were fair enough, but that almost is, I mean, Sean Boyd has got sent off a number of times for Shelbourne.
He's been
Um,
sent off quite a few times for Shelbourne.
yeah, and often for like an elbow or something like that, like, you know what I
Yeah,
mean, as well. So,
he
but
got an elbow down in Waterford earlier in the season, and
yeah, not long ago.
to be fair, Duff came out and said that he let. I think he said he let the
But if
side
you
down.
said that, say about Shane Farrell, you would have said the same thing. And I don't know what's going on, like in people's personal lives. In a way, it doesn't really interest me either. If you get me, like, and it's I think if there is an issue or whatever, I think Duff needs to keep it behind closed doors. In all honesty, in that scenario, I know what he's trying to do in a way. You know what I mean? He thinks he's trying to get the best out of the player and that kind of thing as well. But I don't know about you, but I wouldn't like if someone mentioned something about my personal life and live TV.
No, no, I just thought that was very poor, Keith.
Yeah.
Especially as you say on live TV. Ah, like the red card that Sean Boyd got this season, that's not his first for Shelbourne. I, I'm
No, he's
pretty
got a
sure it's
couple of
not.
red cards for Shelbourne, there's no doubt.
Pretty sure it's not his first.
No.
He wasn't questioning
Mm,
his
mm,
he wasn't questioning his performance levels or his training levels when
mm,
he got sent off. Yeah, he dug him out
mm,
for the particular incidents, but
mm.
he didn't get then tells
That's
off
what
that.
JP. I think if you're not happy with a person, say off the field or whatever, fair enough. If that's the case, it should be kept in house. And
Yeah,
if it's a case of you're not happy with it, then maybe in the next window or something, let the player go or something like that. I don't think he's done that before though. He did something similar with Ryan Brennan, didn't he? He questioned his fitness and he suggested he was overweight when he was at Shelbourne too. Um, so that's a little bit similar, isn't it? Kind of in a way, it's
yeah.
that kind of thing. And I've been a big fan of Duff. I've said it before, done a bloody video,
Oh,
but
so
I
am I.
don't agree with anybody who personalizes things about somebody. If there is an issue, keep it behind closed
Keep
doors.
it behind closed doors.
Done.
Don't let the public know that there's an issue. Um,
Mm.
Speak to him, find out why it's happening like that,
Who's to say
whatever.
he's walking down the street and he gets now criticised and slagged off by people possibly as well? That's not right.
Yeah, exactly. You open him up to a lot of criticism unnecessarily. Um, Look, I know Shane hasn't been in the team often this year, and maybe that is why because there's stuff going on happening off the field that we don't know about, that we don't need to know about. Um, we don't know why he's not in the team. Only Damien Duff knows why, but there was absolutely no need to dig him out the way he did. Yeah, criticizes two yellow cards because
Yeah,
I
it's
think
fair enough. Like I'm
he'd only
sure.
come on as a sub, didn't he?
He did,
Um, and then got two yellow cards and a red. And as Duff said, then it's turned the game because they went from
yeah.
being confident of nicking a winner, they haven't to hold on for a point, which
Mm.
was fair enough.
Yeah, that's fair
You
enough.
could say that he did let the team down in that sense,
Mm.
but don't I just don't agree
No.
with him publicizing what he was doing privately. I don't understand that.
No, I
But
agree with you. And as for Shelbourne, JP, 5 games without a win. They're still top, but the chasing pack are getting closer. Pats, obviously, lost again down in Derry after drawing a couple of games. I suppose since they beat Shamrock Rovers at home, and Pats there, the 2-1 win. They've gone 3 games without winning, 2 draws against Waterford at home, which they were probably lucky to get a win, and a disappointing draw in Oriel. And then obviously another, I would say, disappointing result against Derry the other night. And it's a big game for both sides. As I say, Shelbourne will look as this as an opportunity to get back in the winning trail. Um, you actually seen Pats at the Brandywell, so what was your thoughts overall there with them generally?
they had a lot of the ball, Keith,
Mm.
without really doing anything with it. To
But
be
I say
honest,
seeing that you were at the Brandywell itself, like I seen in
yeah,
TV.
they had a lot of ball. Derry let them have the ball.
Yeah,
I think Derry played something like a 4-4-2. The Derry were outnumbered in midfield, and that's why Pats had a lot of the ball. But they restricted some Pats. I think Melia had the first chance of the game. He headed straight at Brian Maher. Um, Redmond went off injured, and
mm,
while he was off getting treated, or Pats were between him going off, he couldn't continue.
yeah,
Pats didn't have the substitution ready, so the referee restarted the game, and Derry took advantage. And if you watch the ball in the box from Ben Doherty, it drops right in the 6 yard box. And I think if Joe Redmond's on there, it doesn't get that far. It gets cleared, or there's somebody there to
yeah,
deal with it. And it's great
yeah,
somebody by Danny Mullen.
yeah.
I thought for the first half, Pats were really, really good on the ball.
Mm.
They put Derry under a lot of pressure, but they didn't test Brian Maher enough, in my opinion. He made a great save from Brandon Cavan, who I thought was Pat's brightest spark in the first half, especially. A lot of gilt age chances, as you could say, that they missed. There wasn't a lot of that. I think Derry just let them have the ball and said to them, break us down if you can, and they couldn't. And Shelbourne, they'll get similar kind of possession because Shelbourne will let them have the ball as well. It's can they break Shelbourne down will be
Mm. Yeah, that would be
the
my
thing.
thing as well, to be honest with you, because obviously Shelbourne won at Richmond Park earlier on the season, and played, yeah, like that as well. And I think Pats sometimes can be passive and slow, and I think, unfortunately, I think Pats are the type of team you're nearly happy enough to let have the ball. Do you know that kind of way? They're kind of like that. If they go a bit more direct, and I don't mean long, but direct, they're usually better. But whose turn is it to go first here? You, is it? I think it's you, is it?
Third match is me, yeah. I'm gonna go 1-1.
Oh no. Can't see Pats winning it though, Honestly, I genuinely can't. I think structurally Shelbourne, will they get a point? Will Shelbourne win it? I think Shelbourne might nick this 1-0, to be honest with you, JP, and get their first win in 6 games. I think they could nick it 1-0. Waterford and Derry, and a couple of good results recently for Waterford, to be fair. They'll be disappointed in a way because they were a better side in the first half against Pats and could have been 2 or 3 up, if I'm honest, in the last game. But they have picked up 5 points in the last 3 games, so they'd be happy enough with that. Derry, couple of disappointing results, I suppose, but they'd be happy to get the win back at the Brandywell. And notably with Derry, by the way, 12 of the 20 goals this season have been scored between Houben and Mullen, incidentally, which is a nice,
13,
isn't it? How much?
13. Hoban has 8
30.
and Mullen
So
has 5.
13 out of 20 have been scored with Houben and Mullen. That's some
Yeah.
return. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I think it's a good thing because you've two strikers, like, you know what I mean? But
I think if he that strike force last year,
yeah,
they'd have won it because of the
probably
defensive
last year for sure, the
the
way it
defensive
worked
we had.
out. Yeah,
The defensive we had, like we had a
yeah.
good defense last year, but we just had nothing up front. But this year's different,
Yeah, can see the
like
14 goals actually. Yeah,
exactly. But I'm looking throughout the league, and apart from Galway, teams are conceding goals. I think Derry conceded 24 last year. Shelbourne conceded
mm.
27.
I think the Shelbourne are quite miserly. 9, but they
Uh,
conceded a few lately, didn't they? But 9
yeah.
overall, it's not bad. Like,
I think we're not. You'd be doing well. I think if you're winning the league this year, you'd be doing well to concede under 30. I think you'd be doing well to concede under 30.
yeah,
But I'm not sure what Shamrock Rovers have conceded, but
10.
10. Yeah, but they could go on a run where they'll not not concede for a while. Like, but um, look, Danny Mullen got a lot of stick between his signing last year and the end of the season, and he was written off. And for me personally, I wanted to give him a pre-season and to see how he's performed, and I think he's done brilliantly. He really has this season. Came off the bench, Keith, and scored the winner against Pats earlier in the season. Came off the bench at Tala and not nearly the winner, only for a late equaliser. He got another two last night. Took his first goal brilliantly, and then got across the defender for the free kick. With two strikers now, as you say, 20 goals there, scored 13 have come from the strikers, and in a way that doesn't. In a way, you could look at it and say, well, that's not good because if both of them are injured, then who's going to score the goals? But in another way, it is good because last year our top goal scorer, our top scoring striker, I think, had five in the whole last year. So they have two strikers with 13 goals
Already, yeah.
at this stage of the season is really positive. If we can just settle down, get into a rhythm, get into a run, get some of our injured players, and I know it's like a broken down record every season, get some of our injured players back. Hopefully Diallo will be back shortly. I think they're missing him and Dummigan in the midfield, protecting the back four. I think we're really missing them. Just get settled down, take the Shamrock Rovers defeat on the chin. They bounce back 1-3-1 against Pats. Let's go again against Waterford. See, can we get our first away win of the season, and just keep trying to build momentum. Waterford will be a difficult game. They'll be looking to make up for the defeat in the Brandywell.
I do think their defence isn't the best Waterford, though, I have to say. So I'm not sure how many goals we conceded, but even apart from that, I just think their defence, they've conceded 12 goals, not the worst, but I just don't think it's the best defence. Like, and I just think that Derry front line could get at them, and they might get their first away win here, to be honest. Derry, I think.
They were really poor in the Brandywell.
Mm.
They went in, they conceded right on the stroke of half time to go in 2-0 down, which obviously changed the whole game. And then Dara Leakey gets a red card for bringing down Paul McMullen. And I think, if I remember rightly, Pat Hoban was disappointed in Derry that night that they didn't go for more goals with the 10 men. But what they did was they managed the game and stuff like that. So Waterford will want to make up for that performance, especially in front of their own fans. But say if Derry can get the likes of Will Patchen on the ball, like Michael Duffy didn't play last night, he was on the bench. So I know he went off with an injury against Shamrock Rovers. So it'll be interesting to see if he starts him. But Danny Mullen and Pat Hoban, they looked formidable up front last night. They really did. Two up top, fed off one another, and he's create the chances that two of them will score goals.
Yeah, I think I've convinced myself that Derry are going to win this game. First away win of the season. 2-1 Derry for me.
Aye, because I don't think we're doing enough at the minute to keep clean sheets. I think for us to win games, we'll have to score two goals. Hopefully that starts to turn, that they can maybe go to an away game and come away with a 1-0 win. Really unlucky, I think, against. Well, I wouldn't say they were unlucky against Drogheda. Drogheda deserved to come away with the point in that game. Unlucky in the sense that they conceded so late on, but Drogheda did deserve it for their second half performance. I'm going to say same scoreline, Keith. 2-1 Derry.
2-1 Derry. Finally, Shamrock Rovers and Galway United at Tallaght Stadium. I'll go with it anyway and see. Tallaght Stadium. Rovers obviously good results recently. Drew against Shelbourne at Tolka Park. Galway scored 6 goals but conceded 6 goals. But look, they'd be happy with that. They're 15 points after 5 games. They have to be happy with that. 4 wins, 3 draws, 4 defeats. And as it stands, they're 7 points above Drogheda, who are 9th in the table, which is crucial. But they've got Shamrock Rovers away. How are you seeing this one?
Oh, how do you see it with Galway? Is the thing. Came to Brandywell, put on a great performance, got the win, went back to Immendeezy Park, had their worst performance this season according to John Caulfield, and lost 2-0 to Bows.
Haven't lost.
Then they've now beat Shelbourne as well. Drew with Sligo last night. They're a really difficult team to beat. Even down in Immendeezy Park, I think Johnny Kenny had he scored in the 85th minute to beat them, didn't he?
Yeah, he
Um,
did. It was a late one, yeah.
so it'll be a difficult game, I think, for Shamrock Rovers. I think it'll not be. I think Rovers. If you remember back the Pats defeat a couple weeks ago, Keith, Stephen Bradley said it was 15 minutes that Pats had, or
Mm.
Rovers had taken their foot off the gas. It cost them 3 points. Well, on Friday night, it was 15 minutes where they put their foot on the gas. It won them the game.
Mm.
Because they get there is they had the better chances up until the 55th minute. The better, well, say Rovers had one where they tried to walk it in and they made an absolute meal of it in the first half. Um, but other than that, the better chances was for Derry. Leon Poles, we know we spoke about him on the show, and well, is he good enough to be a Shamrock Rovers goalkeeper? And really on Friday night, Keith, he kept him in the game. He really did. He made a couple of saves in the first half, a really good save from Michael Duffy actually from distance. Um, and then he denied Ronan Boyce with his feet just minutes before Shamrock Rovers had taken the lead. And um, I think Rovers, you could, I think, agree with Stephen Bradley, and he said that anything Derry created, especially in the first half, came off Rovers' sloppiness, which
Mm.
which I will agree with. And Derry just didn't take their chances like Pats did a couple of weeks ago when they were sloppy at the back.
Mm.
And that's what you have to do against Shamrock Rovers. Now, Galway probably aren't going to have a lot of chances in this game. They're going to be few and far between. They're going to come, they're going to try and sit in, they're going to try and be difficult to beat.
But you get the
And
sense they're not going to be hammered here, even if Shamrock Rovers will play really well. Don't you get that sense with them?
yeah, I think it, I think with Rovers are probably going to win a 1-0 or 2-0 at the most. I think Galway try and nick a set piece or something. I would love to say Galway are going to go there and do what they did in the Brandywell, but I can't see it. Um, I think Rovers are going to come out on top in this game. I know Galway've scored 6 goals and conceded 6 goals in 11 games. You said they 15 points. They're 7 points off the relegation spots, like, and that's where they want to be. But I just see one winner in this game, Keith, and I'm going to go 2-0 Sham. Oh, it's your call, sorry.
Is it my
No,
call? Is it?
it's mine.
What's your call?
2-0 Shamrock Rovers.
Yeah, I had that in my head as well, literally. So I'm not going to deviate away from it just because you had said, it, you know. So I'll go 2-0 Shamrock Rovers as well. I suppose, JP, just before we go, we'll touch on obviously there was poor scenes, wasn't there, at the Brandywell when Derry City took on Shamrock Rovers, and just get your thoughts on it. Basically, it wasn't good. Let's be real, wasn't it? Not it was ugly enough. Like,
Very, very disappointing, Keith. They see that because it was up until the up until basically Rovers scored the first goal. It was a very good game of football. The atmosphere was brilliant. It's probably the best atmosphere I've seen all season. The fans were really trying to get behind the team and push them on, and only for a disallowed goal and a few good saves from Leon Poles. Derry could have been going in at half time 2 up or better. And he's made a good save from Ronan Boyce, and a couple of minutes later, Aaron Green times his run brilliantly and sticks a ball in the back of net. And from that moment for the next 15 minutes, it was all Shamrock Rovers, and they really took a game away from Derry. Um, and Derry had a consolation goal at the end, and Pat Hoban scoring at the back post, and that then just the next minute, then you see a flare coming in over the wall, and it was really really disappointing. They see it, and what angers me the most is the wee lad about 6 or 7 running on the pitch and being able to run almost the full length of the pitch with that in his hand. And who who was there? Who was his guardian? Like it's really really disappointing. And let's not forget, Derry have already been fined
and it was
this
a
season.
TV as well as the killer. Like, and that particular image wasn't good for TV. That
It
actual.
wasn't good for it wasn't
I
good for
seen
Derry.
it first. It was really cringy looking. It was like, oh my god, has no one
Like
intervened here?
Pico
Something.
Lopez had seen him going, and I think Pico realized where he was heading because Pico put his 2 hands in his head like that, or somebody did. I'm nearly sure somebody did. I'm nearly sure it was Pico Lopez, and it was bad. It was not a good image for Derry. It's not a good image for the league. Um, it's really really disappointing to see. As I said, Derry have already been fined for something that happened in Daily Mount
I
Park, and
suppose JP obviously there was stuff
I
thrown up the
wouldn't
wall.
be
The rec.
sorry,
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 go on.
Keith. I wouldn't be surprised if Derry end up with a behind closed doors game after this.
Possibly.
I'd be disappointed to see it
Mm,
if because it's one section of the stadium that has caused all this.
mm,
But something needs to happen. There's a flair culture throughout the league.
mm,
Um, but for some reason at Derry, it just seems to be when
mm.
Shamrock Rovers come, they just seem they want to cause trouble.
Now,
The
luckily,
Rovers
as well, JP, there was no one hurt badly or anything like that. And like I know the flare, big team made a flare and that because we've seen live telly, but there were other objects, let's say, thrown over the wall as well that weren't flares.
yeah,
So
yeah. So
it
so I
wasn't
believe
just a
and
flare scenario, wasn't it? No, it was just
yeah, so I
objects.
believe and
Yeah.
I seen a steward commenting. They say that he was hit with a bottle as well from that came over the wall. And I
Mm.
know there's another steward was bit on the hand at the start of the game when he was ejecting somebody with a flare. So
Jesus.
it wasn't just at the end of the game; it was at the start of the game too.
There
Like
was
and
something brewing there, in a sense.
something.
And the fact
Look,
that then they went on and lost the game, it kind of
yeah,
escalated that a bit, did it? Did it?
I think if Derry wins that game,
Mm.
that doesn't happen. In my
Probably.
opinion,
Yeah,
there
yeah.
might be some trouble maybe outside, but I
Mm.
don't think a flare comes over the.
But JP, is there not a situation where outside, could they not have a couple of guard outside, even one or two, like just there? Would that not
I,
help?
look, I don't know what the
Mm.
situation is in terms of the PSNI, Keith.
Mm.
If they're, I know last night before the game they were patrolling outside the Brandywell because of what happened on Friday night. But I don't know in terms of like there is a reluctance for the PSNI to come in and be a presence outside the ground because that can entice people to the
To attack
Brandywell.
them as such.
Yeah, that I
Yeah.
think that's why they don't want to be there. But they are always on, Keith. They might not police it directly, but they're always on call
Mm.
for if anything happens because as soon as that started, the blue lights, you could hear the blue lights and they were coming in to try and de-escalate the situation.
They were kind of
I get
around the
what you're
corner
saying.
type thing.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah.
Especially like in that at that part of the ground where
Mm.
Shamrock Rovers fans were situated because the Pats fans were situated there earlier in the season. Because there wasn't as many Pats fans last night, they were in the away section that has been kept for the away fans this year. That section has been created because clubs in the League of Ireland wanted more away tickets, especially Shamrock Rovers and Pats at the start of the season. Bulls, when they come, they'll probably
Mm.
take up that section. But look, I don't know. I don't know what we can do as a club
Mm.
or what can we do as a community because
Mm.
the guys causing us trouble are determined that they cause the trouble, and no matter how much we try, it just seems we just seem unable to prevent it from happening, and um, it's just disappointing to see because, and I would not be surprised now to see Derry with a behind closed doors game or part of the stadium closed. I hope they don't hit us with a behind closed doors home game, um, because they could hit us with two or three behind closed
Yeah.
home games, but and I don't think it would deter the guys that went and did what they did the other night.
I
I
know.
hope they don't, but
Yeah.
I do see something along them lines coming, and um, it, we I just don't know what we can do to prevent it. But the talk of maybe placing it outside, I think that's a no goer because I think that would bring trouble in its own sense.
Yeah, it is a difficult one because you obviously want to protect people, like at the game, whether they're home or away supporters or whatever. And as you say, that part is fairly open. And as I said there, luckily no one actually did get hurt, and obviously the Shamrock Rovers fans were safe enough and they were brought onto the pitch.
Yeah,
But it could have been a worse situation than it
yeah,
actually was, if we're honest about it,
yeah.
couldn't
And I'm delighted that there was nobody hurt. I really am. Um, and look, well done to the Shamrock Rover supporters that were there on the night. Um they came up. They created a good atmosphere. They supported their club, and they didn't deserve to be attacked in the way they did. And look, I'm glad they got home safe. And let's hope it we can do something about it going forward.
Yeah, definitely a difficult situation. But JP, thanks for that. Guys at home, let us know what you think in the comments. Throw us a few predictions as usual. And we'll talk to you soon. Please subscribe to the channel. See you later. Thanks, JP. Brilliant stuff.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.